All right, and we are live on Facebook.
Hello, everybody. And as you could hear, recording in progress. Welcome to Smart With Your Money Live. I am Chase Peckham. I am the Director of Community Outreach and Education at the San Diego Financial Literacy Center, the education arm of DebtWave Credit Counseling. And as always, I am joined by my compatriot, Felipe Arevalo. And today, this has been a conversation actually between us of late and Katie too, when we're talking on our podcast of how we're saving money by staying home, but yet there's been, you guys have had missing refrigerators and kitchens that are being remodeled. So when you're not without a refrigerator or having your kitchen remodeled, the way that you can save money is cooking at home.
Right.
And how it really can save you a bundle. And you'd be shocked at how much we spend eating out every day or every week or every month.
And it adds up because you think about it and you're like, it's just $10 on a sandwich or whatever it is, but you do it over and over multiple times a day, multiple times a week, and it really does take a toll on the finances. So, cooking at home, how it can save you money. I'm really into cooking right now and food, so I'll try not to geek out too much on you guys, but let's get started. It's kind of a bad time to be really into food when you also start a weight loss journey. So
I was just going to mention that. I didn't want to throw you under the bus, but I do know that you are on a new weight loss journey, even betting on yourself.
I am. Stick around for that podcast this Friday. I think it was a fun one. But it's something where we spend a lot as Americans on eating out. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics survey in 2020, because 2019 is the last regular year that they have data on. 2020 was a little different and the 2021 numbers aren't out yet. The average household eating out expenditure was over $3,500 a year in 2019. That's about $294 a month and about $68 a week, which in my opinion, you have to remember it's an average. So there's going to be people way on one side and people who don't go out or eat at all. Seems a little low.
Well, for a family of four, it's right. Definitely a bit low.
You also have to consider this as household. So this may be a single person contributing to this household number. So, it's expensive and it's something that, you really need to take a look at your budget. This is where tracking your expenses really comes into play. If you don't know how much you spend eating out, that number can surprise you. That number might be a lot higher than what you initially thought. When we do budgets with people, we get a number. How much do you spend eating out? And that is one of the categories I can almost always assure you people underestimate what that number really is.
Yeah, most definitely. And on the flip side, they usually think that their groceries are lower than it is.
Yeah, it definitely might be a surprise if you've never done it before, to track your expenses and find out how much you spend on that. One more on why it's so expensive. Well, restaurants have to make a profit. They're a business. They're trying to make a profit. They're trying to, constantly, and they have to keep up with whatever their costs are. You go into a restaurant, you're paying for the labor for them to turn those raw ingredients into a meal that you hopefully will enjoy, and then for them to clean up after you, the experience, the convenience. And those restaurants have additional costs, their overhead, they have rent, they have utilities, they have all kinds of different things. So you take all that into account, they have to charge you more for that food than what you could create that food for yourself at home if you put a little time and effort and then you clean up after yourself.
Right. I mean, that's why it's a luxury. I mean, we go out, it's an experience, right? You're getting a chef who is somebody that knows how to create these masterpieces, these incredible cuisines. Even if you're going to, I don't mean to throw Red Robin, but you're going to a place that makes burgers all the time, right? And so they might make that great burger and you're getting the experience of being all around other people, them serving you, having a drink or whatever. It's the time with your family. It can cost, it adds up. In fact, we get in trouble with my kids because they love eating out so much that they don't even like to eat at home anymore, which we are turning around now. We have to. Our budget will be completely busted.
Right. Oh, Red Robin. Now you got me wanting one of those onion ring towers that they have.
Unlimited fries, unfortunately.
So delicious.
Not good for your diet, Felipe.
Not good for my diet. I had to stay away. But there's one at Plaza Bonita down there. Well, it used to be. I haven't been down there in a while. So it's expensive. So what can you do? What can you do to turn it around? What can you do yourself at home to save money? Groceries, everything's a little bit more expensive now than it was previously, and it seems to be trending that it's going to continue for a while.
And remember,
so
if
it's time to make adjustments.
If it's more expensive at the grocery store, it's more expensive for those restaurants too.
Right.
The cost of food is going up. Inflation has gone up.
So plan ahead. Set up a menu, if you will. What are we, if you're going to do your groceries, depending on what day you do groceries, set up, what do we plan to eat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? And that will help. You might even know, what, Thursday night looks a little busy. Let me make sure I put something in there that's quick and easy that I can just get going and get done, or drop in a crock pot or whatever. You can plan your week ahead and say, we're going to have this on this day, this on this day. And what that will do is it'll eliminate those days where you're sitting around by yourself, or maybe with a spouse, or maybe with your kids screaming, and you're like, what are we going to eat? I don't know.
Felipe, I don't know what I want when it's a Sunday, and I don't know what I want next Friday.
You could though. And maybe you put, you give yourself a little wiggle room, but it'll allow you to, be better prepared. And I've have it with my kids where I'm starting with, Barrington's a very picky eater. He gets one day where he gets to skip whatever it is we're having for dinner, and he gets to eat a soup or chicken nuggets or something like that. And he gets to use it whatever day of the week he wants. So if I kind of give him an idea, we're going to have something like tacos on this day or whatever it is, then he can know, okay, I don't have to skip it that day. I can skip it on another day. But it'll allow you to avoid that. What are we eating? We'll just order pizza, or just stop by and grab some Jack in the Box on the way home, or whatever.
Because by the way, that counts as eating out.
It does. Yeah. Eating out, ordering in is eating out. So if you DoorDash, Uber Eats, you do all that stuff, that's still, even though someone's bringing it to your door,
and it's not as good.
Eating out. No,
it doesn't travel as well.
Travel well.
There's a lot of food that is really good at the restaurant that just doesn't. It's not made for traveling well.
It loses its quality if it's sitting in a little box or in the little bag.
If you have the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they don't have to stick to that day. They can be moved around, but you have to stick firm. And not only that, it's so much healthier.
It is. It really is. It can make.
We've had to go through that a lot right now with the meal prep that you're talking about with Carrie, the diet that she has to have going through cancer. I mean, this was forced upon us, not because we just want to. It's something that has been beneficial for us, but we had to do it.
Yeah. And you want to take it a step further, meal prep and prepare the food ahead of time. Maybe you have one big cooking day on Sunday. I like to do this for breakfast, or like do some eggs and some veggies and cheese and whatnot, and drop them in the little cupcake things, bake them, put them in the refrigerator, and then just grab 2 or 3 or whatever and pop them in the microwave.
Mini quiches or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You need your egg whites. You can make it healthy. You can add lots of sausage and bacon and make it unhealthy. It doesn't matter. But meal prep is taking it to the next level, where you put the meal together, put it in little Tupperwares, and put it in the refrigerator and label it. It's a little too much organization for me, but the breakfast stuff I do like, because then I don't have to go try and figure out what I'm going to have and then grab a pizza pocket.
And not only that, you're not going to have the battle in the car of your kids saying, oh, but I'm hungry. I didn't have time to make breakfast. And you don't have to get into well, you should wake up earlier. Oh, well, it's just, hey, it is what it is. If you want it before, make it the night before, or wake up earlier.
Yeah. Make a sandwich, put it in the
meal prep is great, because now the kids just take it, heat it up, they're gone. And it's done. I mean, you can do that for literally $1 a person for the week for breakfast. It's cheap.
And
it's
you
great.
Put when you're creating bigger batches, or you sit yourself down and you say, I'm going to put together this meal prep, you might take you a couple hours, but that could take many, many hours that if you'd done it individually would have taken much longer.
Make fun out of it. Have a beer, have a glass of wine.
I do enjoy cooking. And
you're cooking it for an hour. You're enjoying yourself. What the heck?
But now with the calorie counting, I think I need to cook.
No alcohol for
water. You. Exactly. So we got the grocery list. When you go grocery shopping, bring your plan. You know what you're going to eat during the week. What ingredients do you need? Maybe you find something where you can overlap ingredients. Maybe you can buy a big thing of chicken and have chicken on 2 different days. Or maybe there's I don't know, you need cilantro for 2 different dishes. So you put cilantro you can use it multiple times so you don't have half the little bundle going to waste or whatever the case may be. So try and find that overlap in your ingredients and have a very organized grocery list so that you have a plan when you go into the grocery store and you're not running around hungry thinking, oh, that looks good. And picking up something that isn't going to fit in your meal plans for the week.
I have found that there are so many things that if you have spices, look, I bet you don't even know what spices you have in your cabinet. Go look in your cabinet, and I guarantee you there's a tons of spices and you think, well, that's not very tasty. You can make so many fun dishes just with the spices you may have in your cabinet alone.
Oh, I love spices. I got tons of them.
My wife goes crazy. She's like, we don't need any more spices.
That's what my wife said. We already have that. No, actually, we were out of oregano. So I restocked it. And it's something where,
I have to admit I'm bad at this. Grocery list.
Grocery list?
Yeah. My wife gives them to me and
I'm very
not
much
allowed
better
to go
at it now because I do the curbside pickup. So I can do my groceries in the afternoon at home after the kids have gone to bed and take my time with it at home, place the order, and then I pick it up the next day at lunchtime or after work or whatever it is.
That's
on the
very
weekend
smart.
in the morning. And it allows me to stay on the grocery list without being marketed to while I'm walking around saying, "Ooh, look at those cookies," or whatever the case.
100%.
So do those grocery lists when you can before you go to the grocery store. Bulk can be your friend.
Obviously, if you have a working refrigerator.
If you have a working refrigerator, bulk can be your friend. If you're operating with a mini fridge as your only refrigerator for a long period of time, like I was, bulk is not your friend. But you can, assuming you can, again, have the ingredients work in multiple recipes, buy the bigger bulk items. Or if it's something that's a long shelf life or something that's not perishable, maybe not a giant fish, but, whatever the case is, and it's something that you can stretch out and have multiple times or have it sit around until you need it, bulk can be your friend if you have the space and the ability to store it. You obviously want to avoid buying too much and then having it go to waste, because then you're wasting money, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So you make sure
you can freeze it.
Yeah,
you
freeze
can do it if you have room.
Yeah, it could save you a lot of money by buying the big box. And
my biggest problem is like at Costco, the tortillas doesn't work. There's too many tortillas. No, I can't go through them all. They're fresh, so they go bad relatively quickly.
Tortillas is a staple for me, so I can
Not
go
anymore.
to tortillas. I can go through tortillas pretty quick. I'm calorie counting, so I can leave the tortillas in. I just can't have as many of them. Or get the low carb, low.
This calorie counting thing is going to come back to bite you a lot.
It is, but I even found out I can have
it's good for
chips. It is, but I can only have 10 of them. So where I normally probably eat like 30 of them. And if I eat them with like a fresh salsa, now I feel like I got a snack at the end of the day. Like sea salt tortilla chips. So buy bulk when you can, if you have the capacity to store it. Find things that have long shelf life and are a quick meal. For example, spaghetti and a jar of pasta. They can sit up there on your shelf for a long time without losing any of its quality, or it's going to taste the same as when you bought it. Obviously, you can make your own pasta, but then you have to assume that that's a lot of work, and you have to be good at it to make it as good as the box one. So just buy the box one. Whatever it is, there's lots of different things, whether it's canned, frozen, or dry goods, or canned, jars, and put it in there for a rainy day. Put it in there for a day where you got stuck in traffic and now you don't have time to cook, and the kids are going crazy, whatever, lots of homework, whatever it is.
The Wednesday meal got blown out because you can't possibly make it in time because the kids' practices ran late. You ran into traffic. You're like, forget it. We got the pasta and the marinara sauce in there. Let's do it.
Instead of saying, 100%. Let's stop by and grab a burger,
No, right.
Or let's order in a pizza. No, while
Spending
everyone's
$50
doing
at
something,
Chick-fil-A for a family of 4. There's just, and it's
Exactly.
not healthy. So
make spaghetti, drop some Parmesan on it. Maybe you got some frozen meatballs. You can make it really exciting. And there you go. So find those long shelf life, quick meals that you could store away for those days where it just isn't happening and the cooking's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
Don't forget the veggies. They're good for you. If you incorporate them into dishes, you can make a little bit of the more expensive meats or things like that go a long way. And you can have frozen veggies, maybe even canned veggies. Fresh veggies obviously are preferred, but keep them
Frozen
around.
veggies are good. They keep
Throw
the
'em aside.
nutrients.
Yeah. And
But-
in a pinch, you're putting together some dish and you're like, oh no, there's not enough veggies in here. Let me just grab some of these frozen broccoli or whatever the case is,
Yep.
and just spice up your dish and make it a little healthier.
Make up a quick stir fry.
Stir fry. I was gonna say I like to keep up like the pre-cut up stir fry veggies in the
There you
freezer.
go.
And then you just add those in, and all of a sudden your dish has veggies. And
Pull the bulk chicken out of there, cube it up, spice
Exactly.
it up, throw it in. You
You
got
get all
a
kinds
good,
of creative.
delicious, healthy meal with olive
Yeah.
oil.
drop it
There
on
you
the
go.
Blackstone and turn it into like a fried stir fry thing. And
Smart with your money. I'm going to start doing Instagram.
food things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Meal plans,
we
meal
should do
prep.
it.
Yeah,
I think we
no.
should do it. I started this weight loss journey, and my best friend, he's the one who got me into it. And he told me, what kind of recipes? And he said, I grilled chicken, and I ate that all week long. It's like, I can't do that, man.
No way.
I needed to be a meal. I can't just grill 2 packs of Costco chicken and then just eat them. He's like, it's boring, but it got the job done.
Yeah.
No, mix in the veggies, mix in the whatever it is, and make it exciting.
Yeah. Just don't nuke them until they're mushy and nothing. Cause then
Right.
bleh. No wonder
Yeah.
no wonder I didn't like veggies when I was a kid.
Skip the meat, maybe a meatless Monday. Check out the DebtWave blog on Meatless Monday. It's great. It actually has a link to this specific recipe, which I'm going to try this one. I probably won't try the other ones. I don't follow recipes, but I do get ideas from recipes and then just kind of take it from there. So I'm definitely going to try this one. Maybe not on a Monday, I'll just do it whenever, but skip the meat. Meat sometimes is the most expensive thing. There are other ways to get protein. You can get protein off your vegetables. You can get protein off, certain beans or things like that. And you can save a little money, maybe eat a little healthy, watch your cholesterol, whatever you're trying to accomplish. But that's a great article on Meatless Monday. And maybe you take one of the days and you remove the meat.
Those look delicious, by the way.
Oh, they look absolutely great. Mine will not look like that, I can almost guarantee you, but I'll do my best. So skip the meat, and there's some recipes on there as well. That's the link on the DebtWave blog. Use leftovers. Don't be afraid of leftovers. They can be your friend, especially if you make a big batch of something, in this case, ham, or shrimp from the original movie, and use it again later. Make sandwiches out of it, especially after like a holiday or a birthday or things like that. You turn it into sandwiches. If it's a meat thing, you can mix it in with eggs and make an omelet. You can do quiche. You can drop in potatoes, all kinds of things. Get creative. Look to see what you have in your refrigerator from the day before if you don't have anything planned for today, and then see how you can turn it into something.
Shoot, a rotisserie chicken could be dinner one night, leftover salads the next day for a lunch, or it can go forever, and it's $6.99. I mean, it's ridiculous. Right. And you can make meals for days out of that thing.
Yeah. We did a pot roast yesterday. There's just a little piece of meat, which isn't enough for anyone to make, but maybe I mix it in with some potatoes and some onions and some veggies and turn it into a little bit of a stir fry thing.
There you go.
And all of a sudden it's a whole nother dish out of just stuff I have sitting around.
Make it a scramble and make it an interesting breakfast.
Exactly. So, don't be afraid of the leftovers. Even if it's just a little, save it and get creative with it tomorrow and reincorporate it into some dish that you might be looking to add. You don't have to be a chef. It's kind of why I really liked Anthony Bourdain's content when he was around doing his shows, is because sometimes you just got to eat the simple foods, and sometimes the simple foods are the right foods. just a quick noodle soup, a shepherd's pie, or something that you can just go back to, or something really simple that you could just reach in, grab, and make in a heartbeat. It doesn't have to be this elaborate dish like you would see on these cooking shows where they like decorate the plate and do all that kind of stuff. This could be it could be a sandwich. You could put together a sandwich and call it a meal. And you don't have to be this professional cook, chef, to make delicious food that could be much cheaper. You do have to practice.
You say you don't follow recipes, but if you do, and like my wife gets on me about the same thing, and she's not a cook, but she follows the recipes, and that food always turns out really, really well. So
yeah, I'll look at a recipe, see what kind of ingredients I need, maybe use similar ingredients, but if it says tablespoon, I don't use measuring spoons. I just throw a little bit of that and a little bit of this, and sometimes it backfires, but that's how I enjoy doing it. So if I use the cooking, that's why I don't bake, because you can't take those liberties when you're baking, or you really mess things up.
I mean, who cares who's eating your food as long as you enjoy it while you're prepping it?
Yeah, exactly. That's unfortunate for my wife and kids. But everything is salt to taste. Everything is a pinch of that, or enough of this, or so you don't have to be making elaborate dishes, and it could be delicious. What are your staples? Is there a dish that you know how to make that you've mastered over the years for one reason or another? My wife, even before we were dating, she would tell me she has 7 dishes. That's it. She doesn't know how to cook anything aside from that, but she makes really good omelets. So you know what? I'm all right with that. Make an omelet for dinner if that's what you have in your arsenal, and that's what you can make. If it's spaghetti, make spaghetti. If it's whatever, it doesn't have to be. What are your staple foods that you can always go back to? Chase, you got a staple food?
Yeah, my kids love me. In fact, I made it last night. Turkey tacos is always the fallback, and I always seem to have ground turkey. It's freezable. Right. You have it in there. You put it in, and you can put it into a quart bag, and you can defrost it pretty quick by putting it in hot water and letting it sit for a little bit without it getting cooked on the outside and frozen on the inside. And I made it in 20 minutes, and they were perfectly yummy little tacos.
Yeah.
And or nachos, depending on whatever your thing is.
Exactly.
Salad.
Something you can come back to, and something when all else fails, go back to your staple and make the food that you're most comfortable making.
Of course, we make that when Carrie is not feeling very good, so she's sick of it. So the kids and I love it.
Yeah, but she's not all about it.
She's like,
make it a fun activity. Sometimes, eating out is about the experience. Maybe it's a date night. Maybe it's to hang out with your kids. Maybe it's whatever it is. Make it a fun activity. Get the whole family involved. Have your date over and have a little cooking thing. It doesn't have to be boring. Play some music, have a drink. If that's what you're into, make it fun. Make it part of the date night. If it's a date, make it part of the hanging out with your kids. Bring the kids into the kitchen. My kid, one of them likes to cook.
Yeah, I was gonna say my daughter loves it. My son's out. He's done now.
Yeah, my 8-year-old wants nothing to do with it. My 3-year-old is all about it. So make it something which, unfortunately,
I was gonna say that can make it tougher.
Making it tougher, yeah. But make it a fun thing that you do with your family, with your date, or by yourself. Just blast your favorite music and have some fun with it while you're doing it. Don't make it a chore. Discover some new favorites. There are tons of different ways to discover favorites. You can watch TV shows that are about cooking. You can watch TikToks or little short videos. They always make it seem way too easy. It never is that clean and easy on those tasty videos.
It never looks as good as the way they do it. Sped up.
But they're great.
But they're
love watching
tasty.
them.
Yeah, literally.
You can watch, there's tons of a whole network on cooking. You can do celebrity chefs. You haven't been to a library or a bookstore in a while. The cookbook section, the cooking section is massive. Go in there and pick what you want. Is there a region of the world, a certain type of cuisine? Is it maybe you're looking for quick and easy? Maybe you're looking for crock pots, you're looking for air fryer, whatever it is. There's a cookbook for it, or 3 or 4 or 10. So go in there and don't be afraid to look into it. There's even cookbooks that allow you to try and look at food differently, and maybe try and connect with family members or ancestors or where your family came from, and try and look back into the different cuisines that have kind of come through over the years. So you can get real creative, or you could keep it real simple and do like 3 or 4 ingredients in one pan and then call it a day. You can expand or do whatever it is you want to do, but don't be afraid to discover new favorites. When you're out there shopping, look for sales and coupons, look for deals, and maybe those deals you get the weekly ad, and that helps you determine what you're going to try and make that day. This
there's
is on a really good
there's
sale.
apps that find the coupons, the national coupons, the national sales. There's so many different areas. If you just look, you can find deals.
Absolutely.
And that might help you figure out what you want or what you're going to do for that week.
Yeah, that might be the starting point. And you say, oh, chicken's on sale, then we're going to have chicken this week, or whatever the case is. Ground beef is on sale, we're going to do some burgers. We have
Sloppy Joes.
There you go. We've done a podcast on how to cut back on your grocery bill. This is an early one in the Talk Wealth to Me podcast world. In fact, it was number 17. And we talked to Steve and Annette Economides. Yes, that's their last name. And they went ahead and they told us some of their shopping secrets on how to cut back on some of the food expenses at the grocery store.
Off the charts entertaining, aren't they?
They are. I think we should circle back.
I bet they were doing pretty good during the pandemic.
Yeah, they had freezers and freezers of stuff. They probably did not get affected by any kind of shortage.
I would imagine.
And then, as always, you can continue learning, listen to this or more. Last week we talked about video games, and then this week we talked about calorie counting and budgeting. Friday, upcoming. So
does dieting and the health industry, do you have to spend money to be healthy and eat right? And that was a really great discussion.
To money, or budgeting. So take a listen wherever you listen to your podcast and on our website, and join us next episode. We go back to talking a little bit more about debt, signs your debt is stressing you out. Maybe the signs of the debt stressing you out is the first indicator to the fact that your debt may have gotten out of control. What are some of those signs? And maybe even what are some of the things you can do to address them to try and bring you back to a less stressful financial situation? So
for sure,
that's the next one. Thanks everybody for stopping by, and hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you share this, like this, and then tell your friends about it.
Yep. Goodbye everybody, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.